Hello all, welcome to another endgame study of the Solving Harder Studies to Improve Chess Calculation series. This position from Alexander Grin, a Russian chess composer, is very interesting. Let me show you here the engine from the chess.com default parameters. So it says it's a draw. So as you can see, it's always good for us humans to see that there are still some positions that at least the default engines don't catch it. As always, before going for the countdown, I suggest you watch the guide. If you are already prepared, then the countdown of 10 minutes will start. You can jump to the beginning of the solution if you are faster. You can pause if you need more time. And as always, I catch you up to the beginning of the solution after the countdown. And here we are. Let's go with the first move, which is Rook f6, double exclamation mark, brilliant move, only move that allows white to win this one. Well, the starting position is easy to see that at first we can see a win as much as a draw because the pawn on a2 is threatening to promote to a queen in the next move. There's no way to stop it. Our pawns are not threatening to promote or create any checkmate threat, so what's going on over here? And even worse, our rook is being under attack by the enemy king. Of course, rook a6 would be ideal, but after taking the rook, there's no option for white to win. Next move, black promotes to the queen, and it's bye-bye, game over. We are losing this one, not even drawing. So the first thing we conclude very fast, I think, is we need to move the rook away and then go with a different idea to checkmate black, and that with allowing at least one pawn promoting to the queen. So we have three options. Let's go with the other ones. Let's go with h6. Here is even worse because, of course, black promotes to the queen, and now it's controlling the long key diagonal over here, and especially the access to the 8th rank. We are going to see that why that's important, because the best plan for white is to check the king, forcing the king to go to the 8th rank, and now ideally we would love to have our rook on the 8th rank, so threatening to release the king and checkmate the enemy king. So this is the basic idea to win this one. So the rook can go and try to go to the other side, but no, it's too late. The queen just comes and then starts grabbing pawns, threatening to take everything around. And an easy idea is to go with the pawn and promote it, two kings on the board. There are no checkmate threats anymore. So it's game over for white if white goes with h6. And the engine also suggests this one for a draw. Remember, the engine is not seeing the win until we move some moves ahead. And this one looks like similar to f6 because we are going to be able to reach the 8th rank, but now black has a different way to draw. So again, the queen is not controlling the 8th rank, so we check the king goes to the 8th rank. Now we are threatening to remove the king with checkmate, but of course black has one move that stops that, which is the queen going to f6. Notice that it's controlling the escape of the king to deliver the discovered check. So now white just advances the pawn, of course, passing the move for black, but now black has an easy idea of repeating moves. Notice that we can't escape the draw from here, so it's game over. Let's go then for our move. Our move is to go with the rook to f6. So now the pawn promotes to the queen. Notice that it's even, sorry for this, it's even attacking our rook. I can show you here on the engine bar that the engine still has doubts about this one, but of course this is the right way to win this one. Let's go again for the analysis. Now we check the king, so the king is under attack, is forced to go to the 8th rank, and of course we have two options. We are going to cover the two. Let's start by b8. Let's go to b8. Now it's white to play again, so the rook goes to the 8th rank. Now the threat is to remove the king with a checkmate. Notice that the enemy king can't move, and so it's in danger now. Of course, black only move is to cut the escape of the king going with the queen to g7. White advances the pawn, so proposing black, please do play now again. And black plays the king to c8. And so now it's white to play again. I'm going to give you one more minute, pause if you need more, and then I hope you find it, and then I come back to continue with this solution. I hope you have found it, and the move is not so easy. It's to play h3, not h4. h3 double exclamation mark. And why is that h3 and not h4? We need to count moves. And notice that we are going to need to bring the pawn until h6 when the queen is on h7, or at least force it to be on h7. So we need to count moves. So one move, and let's say we move the queen, one move, two moves for black, three moves, three moves for black again, four moves, and the queen can't come back to the same place. That's why we need to go with h3. Let's see first what happens if we go with h4, which is a mistake. So now, of course, the queen goes to h7. Let's see this with the queen moving on. Now we advance the pawn, the queen goes again, and now we offer to sacrifice the pawn. And of course, if the queen accepts, then the king just moves from the eighth rank, and it's checkmate. Of course, black won't fall for that. Goes with the queen to h7, and there's no way to force this one. Even worse, now white is playing for a draw, and there's only one move. So I'm going to give you another minute. It's white to play and draw. We are not already playing for a win anymore. So white to play and draw before coming up to continue. And the only move possible for white to keep the draw is to go with the rook f6. So basically protecting the 2 pawns, not allowing black to escape the threats of checkmate, not allowing black to keep on pressing white until grabbing 1 pawn, another pawn, and so on. And if black also don't play for a draw, maybe we can even promote, and things may be dangerous. But here, black has an easy way to draw. It just goes with a check. The king is forced to come to e7. Notice over here that we can't play smart and bring the rook back again, because we are going to be checkmated. Not good for the picture. So we need to accept that we are going to fall into a draw. Now, again, we need to go to the other side, but then the queen can go again to h8. It's white to move. Don't play smart. Don't bring the rook back to the side, because over here, if you go down, of course you lose the rook, so you are forced to come to f6. But now black can start to bring the king, and after a while you are going to see why am I risking my life over here. And because it's black, that of course it's the only way, it's the only one already playing for the win. So over here, when the queen comes back again to h8, the best is to go with the king, and then we get this draw by repetition. So this was the line where we start with h4. So let's go for the winning one, where we play h3. Let's see what black can do. Let's say, for example, now we move the king, but don't forget that moving the king also allows white in the end to have one move from our own king. Let's see that. So we advance the pawn, the king comes back. Now we advance it again. The king goes to b8. Now we attack the queen again. So the queen needs to go to h7. Only way to stop the king to move away from the 8th rank with checkmate. But now it's white to play. And of course, the king goes to the d8 square. So counting moves since the beginning of the moves of the H pawn was key to find a solution for this one. Of course, now there is not much that black can do, probably take the pawn. Of course, now it's attacking the rook, so now we need to come out with check, discover check, but with the king also protecting the rook, sorry, over here. And of course, now the queen takes, we take. It's a win for white. Why? Because of course black can try to come, but now it's forced to go back. I take the pawn. Of course, now it goes to the side, and when it comes back again, we just promote the pawn and checkmate black. So let's go for the turning point where we go with the king to b8, and now let's go to the main line where the king plays to c8. So the development is the same. So we go with the rook to the 8th, so forcing the queen to come to g7, only way to avoid checkmate in the next move. So white advances the pawn. It's black to play again. Let's say we move the queen to h7, and now it's white to play, and you have the final minute, so you can find the correct move from white now. And we are almost over. And I hope you have counted the moves well, because the only move now is to go with the pawn h4. So before it was to go to h3, because the king was in a different square. So we had an extra tempo to lose, to burn, or whatever is the phrase you want to place it. And now we are going to win it again. The queen moves to one side, and we advance the pawn, we move again. Of course, the queen can't move now, so it's better to move the king. And of course, now we move our king, so we always are able to place black in zugzang, and the move now will win it for white. So it's the same idea. We take the queen, we go again, and now I'm going until the end. I'm going to promote the pawn to a queen, delivering checkmate, and wondering how was this possible from the starting position. What a show from this composer. Hope you have enjoyed also, and as always, I catch you up in future videos. Bye bye.